I was right the first time. I was right the second time. But before today, the last time I spoke to my friend was before the last video of this series. Just to recap, as I'll put the first two videos in the description if I'm not lazy. A friend of mine has been dating this femboy, right? They've already been talking about moving in together with each other. I told my friend not to do it because they've never physically been around each other yet. Like, how you finna move in with someone that you never met in person? But that's just one of the rough patches with e-dating sometimes. You feel like you found your soulmate through a Discord server, but you don't really know them like that. I also warned him that he should keep this relationship quiet because his family is super traditionally Christian. And you know how these traditional Christians are. It's all about Jesus Christ, and they don't like that zestiness. Well, it's not really about Jesus Christ. They just, try to control your whole life based on their religious belief systems and try to convert you. But let me not get down that rabbit hole again. Regardless of my advice, he did not listen to me. He did the complete opposite. He told his parents, and they're really mad about it. Second of all, he got really depressed because he couldn't afford moving out to see his femboy boyfriend to move in with, since he ain't got money like that. So since he was depressed, he started coping so hard about this. This is where the second part of this series came in. He started telling me, oh, Haku, I was trolling. He's saying he's not zesty, y'all. It was a prank. He was straight all along. Somehow, he was just lonely, which I even made a defensive point towards that in my video. I said, I understand where he's coming from. He's lonely, so he settled with something he usually would not be okay with. And that happens to people, that happens. Though this is still zesty in my opinion. But as you can see from the title of this video, the lore gets deeper as an unexpected twist from the last two parts is manifested. I didn't even expect this to happen, but you know what? Would I say I'm surprised? Not really. This is how you know this relationship is no different than many other relationships involving two depressed people. A moment of sadness gets ignored, and everything you two vowed to not participate in ends up happening. This adds to my point about why two depressed people should not be dating. It gets toxic and remains in a state where eternity becomes a flawed concept. Here's how this went. He messaged me the other day after I uploaded my second video. Well, that wasn't the other day, but after my second video, he messaged me, right? Saying that suddenly him and his boyfriend split the cost of the plane tickets and the Uber to the airport. Unfortunately, when you hear the word split, you think even. But when I said he didn't have money like that, the split was so uneven that he spent all his money. He told me he don't got $4 in his bank account. $4. Now, my initial reaction was more or less like, whatever, dude. I can't control what my friend is doing. See, and I read what y'all be saying in the comments. Some of you feel like I need to be more assertive of a friend. And some of you feel like I'm not wrong for not trying to control his life. This is what he wants to do. I can't tell you what to. It's like when people talk about like getting things scared, like I can't want it more than you, dude. This is what you want. I don't want it as much as you want it. So what am I supposed to do for you? This is what you want to do. This is what you want to do. I make irrational decisions as well. But I find it very frustrating when someone tries to micromanage me because of that. I do not respond well to someone trying to tell me something without giving reasoning behind it. I was always like this, even when growing up, and even when it came to school. I won't learn something in class or remember something unless you explain why it's like this. Why does X equal Y? Don't just tell me X equals Y. Explain it to me. But I digress. Anyway, because this is how I am as a person, I try not to do it to other people, including my friend here. So when he dropped this news to me, I had a short conversation with him about how do you plan to do everything? But I also told him, keep me updated. It's weird because I was more or less excited for him, despite knowing how risky this was. So boom, he makes it to the airport with his tickets and the Uber. He is nonstop giving me updates and stuff. He's texting me throughout the whole day, and that's fine. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? He got nerves and everything. It's a big day for him. And he seemed very happy, and I understand. This was a moment of freedom from his religious parents, his controlling religious parents, and a moment to finally see the person he is attached to. As he arrives, he gets a ride to his boyfriend's place. And then I don't hear from him for the rest of the day, really. All the way until really late at night. And he says everything went well. And I'm like, thank goodness. He made it there safely. He didn't get murdered. Everything went well. He tells me he's laying down with him right now and everything like that. And I'm like, wow, that's good. That's good. I'm happy for him. New chapter in life. But he said something in the conversation that seemed like a little mishap. He said he couldn't sleep. Okay. Okay, he said he couldn't sleep. It's probably, it's his first night sleeping at somebody else's place, like this is where you're going to stay at now. Like, I kind of get it. Whatever. But keep that in mind for the rest of this whole episode of the Aku anime. The next day, his boyfriend is at work or something. He went to go to his job or something. And my friend starts texting me talking about how they already had a little argument about food. Apparently, both of them do not know how to cook. But he cooked for him anyway. My friend, he cooked for his boyfriend anyway. And his boyfriend didn't like the food. Apparently, he's a picky eater. And that part made me laugh. You know what he told me? He told me that the only food he sees in the cabinets and the refrigerator, junk food. Bro got little to no groceries, like actual food here. But guess what? Who is going to buy the groceries when the dude doesn't cook? Who's going to buy the groceries when this dude got no money? Obviously, his femboy boyfriend only eats potato chips and drinks Monster energy drinks and Gatorade, mixing it with Red Bull. You trying to cook him real meals. You wonder why he's depressed, by the way, when that's all he eats. That's his diet, okay? But you trying to cook some real food, but he's a picky eater and you got no money to afford groceries. He already flew you out, essentially, and paid for your Uber rides. I mean, come on now. But then my friend started complaining about the bed being too small. His back hurts because there was barely room. So he kind of slept funny. And he said that his boyfriend sleeps like an obtuse angle, sort of. I forgot what he said, how he described it. He sleeps like he's like curled in a ball, but his legs are like, you know what I'm saying? He sleeps he slept kind of funny that night, but that's why he couldn't sleep that much. He also complained about the Wi-Fi at this place being so bad. Now, he did set up his computer and everything like that, but the internet is actually trash over here. Now, when you're a young adult and you tend to move into like an apartment complex, especially when you don't have good credit, because, it's weird how things work here. I wouldn't say here, but maybe just a lesson to people here. Some of you may not have credit card debt right now, okay? But your credit score may be neutral. If you try to buy an apartment, that's still not good enough. You still have to you still have to build up your credit to look good. A neutral credit does not look good. So usually when you go for like apartment searching, you're probably going to get a place that does not have like good internet or any other good amenities and stuff like that. It's just part of it. This is a young couple here, so I'm not surprised that the internet is trash. It happens, okay? So even when you have a good computer, which doesn't really contribute to the whole point here. Now, he's doing all this complaining on day 2. I wouldn't even count day 1 to be a full day. Y'all, you were flying the whole day, but I'm just being generous to call it the second day. If I said it was day 1, it would sound worse, right? Later that day, he texts me, right? Later that day after he did all this complaining to me, he texts me talking about how he's bored because all they've done so far together is bang each other. Then realistically do nothing. Now, I knew this would happen. Y'all just bed rot or sit on the computer because that's all y'all would realistically do when you guys were apart. What made y'all think this would change when you two were together? The only difference is y'all are banging. Really think about what I'm saying here, people. For those people who e-date here, y'all just sit on the computer the whole day. If you two were to be together, living together and stuff, y'all would just bang each other and touch each other. And then after that, hop on the computer again. Otherwise, you'll get bored. The Wi-Fi sucks at this guy's place. So, this is even worse. Y'all have no hobbies besides going on your computer and playing games. The whole thing about e-dating when it comes to playing games is that it's a long distance activity. Even though these two can still technically game right next to each other because he did bring his computer, it doesn't hit the same. You see the pattern here? This is why I keep saying whenever I talk about e-dating, stop fantasizing about meeting each other or moving in. And these misfortunes aren't even unique. This isn't just, Aku's friend is going through a specific situation. No. This sounds like what it would be like moving in with anyone. And for the people listening to this episode or watching this episode, whatever, think about this. This is a real life situation too. If you were to start dating somebody and you think about moving in, people who have moved in with somebody, you probably already know exactly all the things I'm saying right now. This is no surprise to you. This doesn't sound very alien to you. So when I mean like this sounds like what it'd be like moving in with anyone, they don't have anything planned. Not to mention, what's gonna happen when these two get bored of banging each other? Going back to what I just mentioned here, for anyone here who has been in a relationship or lived with a partner, you know how it is. There's a time where getting intimate is still nice and fun, right? But it doesn't hit the same because you two are so used to doing it so much. Let me put this in simpler terms. When your relationship is all about banging each other, and that's the only true hobby you two have, it's not a good look. It doesn't really last as long as it should, because there needs to be more to this. Now, maybe some of you forgot this from the older episodes, or you haven't watched it. This femboy has major depression, like 50% of femboys have. So my friend got to listen to this depressed dude 24/7. This ain't it. I wouldn't even say they rushed into this because they've been talking for a while, out of fairness. But I would say they didn't know each other's habits. I actually have an interesting story about this, and I didn't tell him the story because I don't think it would have helped, but maybe it will help someone here who thinks about moving in with others, okay? Maybe it will help one of you here. I was gonna move to London to live with my girlfriend because my parents had plans to sell the house. I was either going to get a place in New York City and have her move here, or I would go overseas. We were likely planning for her to come to New York City with me. It was just more convenient because I have a car and I'm raising 2 dogs. I can't just abandon my dogs. You know what I'm saying? And on top of this, and just for the record, if this flew over your head, when I say I'm moving to London or she has to move to New York City, it's an online relationship. But we've met before in person. But it'd just be easier for her to move over here simply because I have my vehicle here. It'll be easier for her because the marriage license comes with more benefits in America. Getting married will help with the visa, allowing her to actually live here. But, that's a big step. Aku getting married? Can you imagine that? Like, what? Like, this sounds crazy, right? But someone, especially someone like me, but we already discussed this several times because this was financially possible for both of us. Even before my parents wanted to sell the house, we thought about this. But I already moved in with my ex years ago. And I moved out after. We don't live together. And I know what it's like moving in with a lover. So something we did, my girlfriend and I, we would play Minecraft together, and we would play survival or try to be as immersive about it. Or we would, what we would do? We would play Sims together. Now, Sims is not a multiplayer game, Sims 4, right? But I would screen share on Discord, and she would watch me and tell me what to do. We would make each other, right? Give each other the traits, and we would build a house. Well, we wouldn't build a house, but we'd go to an apartment. We get some cheap apartment or something like that. Trying to be realistic here, trying to be as immersive as possible. And we'll work it out like how we worked it out. There were several quirks from her and myself that we picked up on. Like, for example, she loves playing music out loud. Okay. Me personally, Aku, if you listen from the programming videos that unfortunately are deleted now from the past, you would know I can't stand noise. Fun fact about me. I can't stand it when people play music from their speakers, from their phone or laptop or whatever. Music, videos, anything. Even when I'm driving, I don't like it when people plug in the aux to their phone. If I'm driving, we got to talk or we sit in silence. I'm sorry. I'm a dweller. I like thinking a lot. And I can't think when there's no peace and quietness. It's just how my brain is. Some people don't like that. When I'm talking about it with her, the reason for this is that I can't work and listen to music or background noise at the same time. If I can't work, I get frustrated. If I can't work, I can't make money. So boom. Now we both know she likes her music being this way and I need my space. So what we finna do about this? So she said to me, she doesn't mind using her headphones or whatever. And I also pitched an idea. I said, it would make more sense if I had an office room for myself, because she doesn't use her office stuff ever. Like, she has a computer stuff, but she's never really on it. I have but me, Aku, I have 5 monitors, a microphone stand, a whiteboard. Let me check around. I got 2 whiteboards, actually. I have a laptop across over here. I have a bunch of bookshelves here because I like reading books sometimes. Okay, so that on and off thing. Sometimes I'm like a bookworm, sometimes I'm not. But you see, I have a lot of things that would go into an office, so might as well use one of the rooms as an office. So we thought about that. Okay, so if we're gonna move out together and we're gonna pick a place, it needs to be a place that has a room where we can put an office together in, and we both agreed on that. So, but see how that conversation went. Another thing we spoke about was pets. Listen to this. She likes bunnies. She has bunnies. She had bunnies. Dearly loves them. I am not a bunny person. Okay? I think bunnies are extremely lusty animals that hump each other all day and bite on things, which is a fact. Okay? That's all they do. They eat, hump, and chew things. And we agreed that I need to learn how to take care of them. Oh my goodness. Even though that's not something man, even though I raised dogs my whole life, I'm still not perfect at raising dogs. My dog almost got ran over today because I should rant about this since the opportunity's here. I got this new collar for my dog and it snapped off, and he thought it was me giving him free roam time, which is something we do. We go for jogs. I'm usually going for a jog or like a walk at like 4:30 in the morning, so there's no cars outside or anything like that, and I walk him without a leash because he knows to stand near me. Yo, I took the thing broke off of his collar. He thought that meant time to move around. And it was like, it wasn't 4:30 in the morning. It was like near 6 o'clock in the morning. So there's cars around, and he ran into the street. I'm like, what is you doing? You know not to do that. I got so, and who am I going to be mad at? I'm going to be mad at my dog for being a dog, or I'm going to be mad at the owner for not you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of mad at myself about that. You know, listen, I had a rough morning, guys. Okay, listen, that kind of ruined my whole morning, but that's bad human and dog communication here. So I'm mad at myself about this. I had a rough morning, shaking my head. But anyway, you know, I'll learn to take care of the bunnies too, because that's her things. That's what she loves so much, bunnies. Okay, so now we got to own bunnies in the crib. All right. But anyway, we went through so many quirks and we resolved it through a fun and mature set of conversations. If we just moved in together, right? If I just flew to London or she came to New York City and then we found an apartment and that was it, I can imagine us arguing about it or not being prepared. I had to study how bunnies work, bruh. It's not that simple, actually. I had to change up several things in my own lifestyle just to get used to living with her. The moral of the story is, it's not just about, oh my God, I could finally be around my favorite person 24/7. No, it's about learning how to compromise with another person living in the same space as you, how to share it with your favorite person. So this favorite person doesn't become someone who isn't your favorite anymore. Like, now, unfortunately, my friend and his boyfriend didn't do this. So even though my friend, his boyfriend is his favorite person, now it's not becoming like that anymore. All because of this. My friend is far away from home and from any family members and has to deal with this in this moment. I think this is a complete disaster. But it is fixable. However, the fact that they are scuffling shows that they were not prepared, and it could ruin their bond. Like I'm just saying right now, favorite person thing is gone. I did give him advice the last time we spoke, which was yesterday or earlier. Well, technically, because AM, you know, saying like mid, you know, after 12 a.m. whatever. But I told him though that they need to sit down and plan who does what, set boundaries, and put living space goals. Otherwise, this is going to be a miserable experience. And you can't just fly back home. You got no money, bro. I don't know who's going to pay for those plane tickets. Who's going to pay for those plane tickets again? And those Uber rides, you know? I mean, what do you guys think? What advice would you give to him? Is my advice bad? Am I a bad friend for letting this happen? This episode of the Aku Anime is also found on Spotify and YouTube. Watch the sun bleed. It's our time to go out while we watch the sun down. Watch the sun down. Watch the sun down. Watch the sun down, down, down. I got what I asked for, but I think it's never mine. We try to shine our own way, but the stars are not aligned. Laser on the heat, best bet you better hide. Said to do what's best, now my thoughts are on decline. Take a trip with me, we can share confessions. What's next for us? That's a loaded question. You go first, you have the best expressions. I'm looking up, now I see a dark sky heaven. Watch the sun bleed, it's our time to go out while we watch the sun down. Silent guy, forever peace, now there's no doubt. While we watch the sun down, fears or hopes are gone, we don't know what that's about. While we watch the sun